this WrestleTalk news, Keith Lee's new name, Ric Flair's statement on Dark Side of the Ring, my review of Raw, and more. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos, where I will not do what Adam said on Sunday.
If 1,000 people from this video subscribe, I spoke to Ollie and he says he'll poo himself.
But I will do a cartwheel when we reach 820,000 subscribers. I'll probably poo myself too.
Support WrestleTalk!
Von Wagner, Lash Legend, Bron Breakker with 2Ks, T-Bar, Slapjack, The Viking Experience, Doudrop, Randy Orton. WWE are pretty crap at names, and not content with a whole new NXT 2.0 roster rebranding, they've repackaged at least one main roster wrestler they inexplicably have no idea what to do with. Because just a few weeks after Adam Cole was pitched to be the manager to his monster heel, which probably isn't happening anymore, baby, Keith Lee was introduced on last night's main event taping as Keith Bearcat Lee. For reference, I could show you a picture of the binturong mammal, commonly known as a bearcat. Or I could mention the University of Cincinnati Bearcats football team. Or I could show you this picture I found on Reddit of a cat's face photoshopped onto a polar bear. That'll help him get over on the main roster. What do you think about how WWE is treating Keith Lee? Let me know in the comments down below, because I'll be replying to as many of them as I can for the first 30 minutes after this video goes live from out of nowhere. Before we get on with the rest of the episode, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to this episode's sponsor, Star Trek Fleet Command, which is free to play on iOS and Android, so use our link in the description below to download it now. Star Trek Fleet Command is a free-to-play mobile open-world strategic MMO, available on both iOS and Android, where you get to explore the Star Trek universe as a heel or a face, it's up to you. A babyface, Khan. Or a heel, Khan, if you will. In the politically fraught Trekkie-verse, you decide whether to join the Federation, Romulan, Klingon, Rogue, or Augment factions. Then you just ball it round deep space, capturing enemy territory, acquiring resources, and blowing up rival ships to dominate the multiverse. The biggest thing for me, though, as a lifelong Trekkie nerd, I legit tried to name my pet cat Tribble when I was a kid, was all the characters and ships you can play with in this game. You can effectively draft your fantasy Star Trek crew and build up your own fleet of awesome ships from the show and movie lore. Stuck whether Kirk or Picard is best? You can have both, even though the correct answer is Benjamin Sisko from Deep Space Nine. And just look at all the ships. It's like spacecraft porn. Yes, I will add you, USS Intrepid, you obscure, entirely Vulcan crew little minx. Star Trek Fleet Command is free to play on both iOS and Android, so please give the game a go by downloading it using the links in the video description below. Not only will you have a really fun time building your own Star Trek roster and fleet, but every person who clicks that link also really helps support us here at WrestleTalk, so thanks to everyone who does. Support WrestleTalk! And support Picard, because actually he's the best. I was only joking about the Cisco pick. After her return at SummerSlam, where she immediately beat Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's title, Becky is now a fully fledged heel. But we almost saw her return 4 months earlier, as Alex McCarthy on Twitter revealed Becky was cleared and ready to go at WrestleMania 37 in April, and was scheduled to face Bayley at the show before those plans were scrapped. Bayley instead did a promo with Hulk Hogan on night 1. Problematic. And then got embarrassed by the Bella Twins on night 2. That's outrageous. In more serious news, Ric Flair has now issued a statement on the allegations of sexual harassment from last Thursday's Dark Side of the Ring episode that focused on the infamous Plane Ride from Hell. About 4 years ago, I gave ESPN full access to my life for a 30 for 30 special. They covered taxes, financial issues, adultery, divorces, the passing of my child, and drinking, partying at length. My issues have been well documented over my 40+ year career. The impact of drinking too much, which nearly killed me 5 years ago, has been told time and time again. The reason Rory, or anyone else for that matter, never heard stories of me forcing myself on anyone is simple. It never happened. But WWE does not want that heat. After pulling the first episode of their animated Storytime series on the WWE Network last week, which featured Flair talking about a flight to Hawaii in 1986 and having several flight attendants trying to strip him down to just his robe, WWE have now gone further and removed all of Ric Flair's merchandise from WWE's shop, as well as taking him out of the intro video stinger, which began with his signature "Woo." Awkward transition back to regular wrestling stuff segue, because now it's time for my review of Raw in about 5 minutes. The reunited New Day, complete with new WWE Champion Big E, it was always the plan, opened the show where Big E thanked everyone who supported him over the years, including one incredible friend above in the heavens, which started a light Brody chant. Then it was time to build up tonight's huge pay-per-view level, several months of build-worthy match of Roman Reigns and the Usos versus the New Day. It was always the plan, because Raw is the New Day's show now. Since last Monday. This then brought out the Bloodline, because that huge pay-per-view level, several months of build-worthy match is actually happening right now to open the show. This was an above-average TV six-man tag with exceedingly above-average star power and character history. This is the New Day versus the Usos. This is the long-fantasized Roman versus Big E feud. And thanks to all of that, despite this being thrown together just several days ago, it worked. It's awesome how credible Big E feels as a threat to Roman, despite him really only just entering the main event scene. But Raw had another sweaty plate to spin. The guy who will presumably be facing Big E at Sunday's Extreme Rules, although there was no mention of that here, Bobby Lashley. He came down and took out everyone, New Day or Usos, leaving Roman to pin Woods in the ring for Reigns win number 1. Lashley then continued to beat up Big E and Roman, positioning him as just as much of a threat to either guy's title ahead of the draft. Because this opening, huge pay-per-view level, several months of build-worthy match was actually just to set up a just as huge pay-per-view level, several months of build-worthy match for the main event. Lashley, Big E and Paul Heyman all individually shouted at Definitely Not Raw general managers Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville backstage, where they booked Reigns versus Big E versus Lashley for the end of this episode. It was always the plan. I'm not massively complaining, because I deserve some hot-shotted excitement after watching Raw where nothing happens for the last year and a half. But it does still make it rather desperate. Watching this episode of Raw felt like I'm at the club with my homie trying to impress a girl. And it's really funny to watch him try so hard, but I also feel bad for him because he's lonely and drinking too much. It was me, I'm talking about me. What do you do with a girl like Eva now her feud with Doudrop climax last week? Make her do the same match where Doudrop beats her again. And here she is, an American Ninja Warrior. As if all the Roman stuff on this show wasn't enough, we then got Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. The last time these two wrestled, they were just the background to What is Amos doing? God, that guy's tall. Thankfully, this time Amos got ejected from ringside for actual interference rather than just having height, letting Orton and AJ wrestle a one-on-one story, complete with their latest excellent variation on the RKO phenomenal forearm counter. Randy RKO'd AJ anyway to win. Thanks for your support on Patreon, Arnie K. The K stands for the coolest dude ever. You can get your own shout out and loads of exclusive content over at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. After a video package recapping Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler's tag team title run together, and at least one of their breakups, we actually got a match that had been advertised the week before. Rather shockingly, Baszler almost squashed Jax, kicking her and choking her out to win. Shayna continued to beat down poor lovable babyface Jax afterwards, including kayfabe breaking her wrist in the steel steps, which Nia did an excellent screen job of selling. This felt like the genuine start of something new for Baszler, for at least the next 3 weeks. Speaking of 3-week pushes, oh damn, WWE really is panicking. Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza have just been put together in a tag team. They were actually really good together, particularly Garza beating Ali and Mansoor in a few minutes. We got a video package for Karrion Kross. They know they already debuted him, right? Almost a Superhero Nikki, Almost a Superhero and Rhea Ripley then came out to dedicate their next match to all the kids after talking about Connor's cure. They better win now. That or Shawn Michaels beats them. Birmingham Screwjob deep cut. Thankfully, they not only won the match, they also won the women's tag team titles, which I must admit I did not even realize they were on the line. The amount of times Natalya and Tamina have not defended their belts has pummeled me into indifference. WWE quickly cut to Alexa's Playground next, not letting the title change breathe at all, which hosted Charlotte Flair ahead of their title match. Bliss is so much better without the overt supernatural spot. They actually had a fantastic, seemingly improvised line here. When the crowd wooed, Bliss pointed out that's not even Charlotte's, to which Flair responded, "Don't talk to me about originality." A very obvious barb at the fact that's Bray Wyatt's gimmick you've got there. It captured that realism Britt Baker and Ruby Soho so expertly worked on Friday's Rampage. WWE went in a different direction though. Charlotte ripped up the doll and Bliss laid her out. Drake Maverick revealed his plan to the 24/7 A-team of him, R-Truth, Drew Gulak and Akira Tozawa catch Reggie in a net. It didn't work, but it was hilarious. Speaking of 24/7 title contenders, Jeff Hardy then beat Sheamus, reprising their piss-soaked history. The victory meant Jeff was added to the US title match at Extreme Rules, even though Damian Priest had already beaten him clean last week. And the main event was a fantastic triple threat between Big E, Roman and Lashley, making all three men look strong, giving Big E two real near falls on Roman and having Lashley put Big E through the announcer's table. But just when I thought WWE was going to screw on their own rules, probably booking a DQ finish to a triple threat, when Lashley started wailing on Big E with a chair, Roman speared Bobby to get a clean win, giving Roman his second decisive victory of the night. It genuinely worked fantastically. If only Lashley also had a tag team he could rehire to make this an epic three-way six-man feud. What did you think of Raw? Let me know in the comments down below. 74% of you are not vegetarian, voting for all of the meat on our poll on a poll match on the community tab. While last week's had the high of Big E winning, this was a far more complete episode of the show, with great big matches up and down the card. I doubt that's something they can keep up in the long term, and there was a title change. But for now, I'm going to take my watchable Raws where I can. This week's Raw is 4 out of 5.
I do enjoy some parts of WWE still from my friends that work there, and I grew up on it. So I don't think what I said was too far out of the norm in terms of it being true. There's times where they have, I feel like, insulted the audience, and I am a part of the audience. And that's my opinion. If there's multiple people that agree with me, then sure. But I think that we do things. I'm not saying that we are free from that type of criticism either.